Hey everybody, SoxHeather here with the Persian, and it is the beginning of Soxtember, and we thought what better way to start Soxtember, and what better way to introduce ourselves to our many new subscribers. Do you know we're up to 926 now?
What are you going to do when we hit 1,000?
I don't know. What do you think we should
Just
do?
goes to show. SoxHeather Nation
Oh
is
Lord.
everywhere. Global.
SoxHeather Nation, apparently.
Represent.
It's flattering that you have so much faith in me. Lord.
But it was alright. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. So, what better way to start off our first ever Soxtember with the husband tag? This has been something that's been highly requested by many of you. And every time I ask for ideas of something to do, someone always mentions the husband tag. So, are you ready?
Let's do it.
Alright, we're going to do it. Here we go. I've seen many different versions of this with multiple different questions. So, we're kind of going to take a mashup of two that I found. They have a few of the same questions, but we will just skip those.
It's like a dance mashup, but a little different.
Someone's been playing Just Dance. Okay.
It's good mood.
First question. This is a big one. Where did we meet?
Okay, the thing is though, like, you gotta be specific. You mean meet face to face?
No. I think we should start from the beginning. Are you ready?
What do you mean the beginning?
The whole story.
So you're just gonna tell the whole story?
Your prison record. All of it. I'm just kidding. It is quite a story though, so sit down, grab a cup of tea, and get ready for the story.
I'm gonna sit down and get ready too, because
Okay.
you're gonna tell it. Right?
You don't want to tell it?
No, I mean, you tell it better. You tell stories better than I do, so
Oh, thanks.
I'll enjoy myself.
Feel free to interject.
Of course. You know I will.
I know he will. Okay. The Persian and I met online. We were both on a dating site, and I had posted a post that I guess I was just feeling kind of maudlin at the time, and I posted a post about how the things that I missed about a relationship. Random things. It didn't necessarily apply to anyone that I had been with particularly, but just things that I missed about being in a relationship. And so I posted that, not expecting to get any responses or anything. It wasn't like you go somewhere and you post it. I just posted it.
Yeah.
As kind of just my thoughts on paper. And he responded. And he responded, he didn't say hi or I can relate or anything like that. He just responded with his own list of things that he missed about being in a relationship.
Yeah.
And so we just started talking, and immediately we started asking questions. And I think I sent him a list of probably 20 different questions, maybe 10.
With every email, I think.
I think it was 10.
20. That was a lot of.
Yeah, I think there were 10 per email.
And I loved it.
That. And it was ranging anywhere from what was your favorite vacation you've ever taken to do you prefer blue or black ink in your pen?
Yeah.
One of the questions I've always asked anyone that I've ever gone on a date with is, how do you order your steak? It's very important to me to know how a man orders a steak, even though we don't really eat beef anymore.
No, but it's telling, isn't it?
I've found through my many years of research in the dating world that, and no offense to anyone who orders their steak this way, but I have found that I'm not very compatible with men who order their steaks anything over medium. If you order it medium, we're okay. If you order it medium well or well done, we're not compatible for the
Tell them why, baby. Tell them why.
Here's why. I have found in my research that men who order their steaks medium well or well done are not as adventurous as I would like in a mate.
No.
And some people may not agree, and this doesn't apply to women. Women who order their steaks well done seem to be more adventurous than men who do. But I have found that men who order their steaks well done aren't interested in sushi. And I love to go out for sushi, so they're not interested in raw fish for sure. They tend to not be as adventurous with travel or experiences or things like that. I find
it's all about adventure.
Yeah, I find that when you ask a man who orders his steak well done where his favorite vacation was, It's generally within 2 to 5 hours from his home.
How dare
This
you?
is...
How dare you? How dare you?
He's saying that because his favorite vacation spot is San Diego, which is about 2 hours from here. However, I give him a break because he's been so many other places and he enjoys travel. So
Yeah, I love it.
there are exceptions to every rule. Now, I'm not saying everyone whose favorite vacation spot is 2 hours from their home is not compatible. I'm saying I have found that men who order their steaks medium well or well done, tend to not be as adventurous travel.
Yeah.
If that doesn't apply to you, of course there are exceptions to every rule. Please don't be insulted by this. This is just what I have found to be a pattern in my life.
SoxHeather Nation, no alienation.
Lord, oh my God.
Found it. Found it.
Okay, so getting back to how we met. So these are some of the questions we would email back and forth to each other. Do you wear socks when you sleep? Do you...
just good questions.
Interesting questions we would ask each other.
Small things, but just good
and
questions.
it really turned out well. So we started talking via email, and then we started talking via text message. And then he asked me out on a date. And we were supposed to go to a seafood restaurant on our first date.
Yeah.
And about 2 hours before our first date, my server crashed at work. And I work... How dare you? How dare you? I work in IT. So, working in IT, when you work with specific software and your server crashes, it's all hands on deck. And there's nothing that can be done about it until it's fixed. So, I called him. I didn't call him. I texted him. We had actually not talked on the phone yet. We had only texted. Yeah, I don't think we've talked on the phone yet.
Yeah, possibly.
So I texted him and I said, look, I'm really sorry. My server crashed at work. I'm not going to be able to make it. Please forgive me. And he said, okay. And
I never just leave it at okay.
No. But he said we could still have a virtual date. Or maybe I said that. One of us said,
I think it was mine. Yeah.
So we kind of had a date via text. And he was really cute. He would text me as I'm working on my server at work. And he'd text me and say, pass the salt please, or something like that. It was really sweet. It was funny. So we missed our first date, and so we kept texting, and at the time my brother lived in Phoenix, and we were texting and stuff, and I was frequently going to visit my brother in Phoenix when I had a long weekend or something. We texted for a while. We didn't do a makeup date. We hadn't set one yet, but all of a sudden the Persian disappeared. And I didn't hear from him. And I texted him a few times, and I didn't hear from him. And I thought, okay, he's met someone else on the dating site. That's cool. Too bad. He was a good guy. You know. And I really thought about him. But it's not in my nature to continue to text someone who's not responding. I don't do that. So I just mentally wished him good luck and went on about my business. And about a month and a half went by, and I went out to Phoenix to visit my brother, and I had seen something at a flea market that reminded me of a conversation he and I had had. And so I took a picture of it, and I sent it to him via text, and I still didn't hear back from him, and I thought, okay, he really did find someone else. I'm going to leave him alone. And I had even told my brother, you know, this guy was really nice, and I think I blew it because I canceled our first date. And another month and a half go by, and I get a text from the Persian, and it says, "Hi, this is me, and I have a really good reason for not talking to you." And
good reason.
He said, "I've been in a coma for 3 months." And you guys have met the office mate, and I was in my office at the time when I received this text, and I turned to the office mate and I said, "Dude, I have literally heard every dating excuse on the planet. This guy is so full of it. What kind of a person lies about being in a coma? Am I really supposed to believe this?" And sure enough, he was in a coma.
Yay!
Yeah, yay, yeah, right, yay. So, many of you are probably saying, what the what? A coma? Why?
What the what?
And I'm gonna tell you, I had dinner, most of you know I had dinner with Patience and Faith, Jen and Lisa from Patience and Faith 619. and their sisters. I had dinner with them while they were out here for VidCon, and the Persian was in England. And we were having dinner, and I actually told them this story. I told them the story about how we met. And they were like, what? A coma? And so I imagine many of you are going, what? A coma? And here's what. The Persian has epilepsy.
Boo.
Boo. That's a bummer, for sure. And do you want to talk about it, or you just want me to kind of sum it up the way I do when people go, what? A coma?
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
Okay, you can elaborate then. He has epilepsy, and most of the time what that means is once every couple weeks while he's sleeping, he'll have a seizure during the night. And that's generally the gist of it. But before I came along, he had a lot more of it.
It was much, much worse. Yeah.
They were more frequent before I knew him, before the coma. And the day of the coma, you had how many in one day?
I barely remember the day, actually.
Something like 60?
Something like that, yeah.
Something like 60 seizures in one day. And so his parents took him to the hospital, and they medically induced the coma to get the seizures to stop. And they botched it up a bit, and when they tried to bring him out of the coma, they couldn't. So he ended up being in a coma for almost 3 months. So that's...
And I lost like 20 pounds of muscle mass. I was like really buff before. I had like a 12-pack. But stupid coma. Why are you laughing?
Why you gotta joke about a coma?
Okay, I made up a joke. What do me and a famous truck have in common?
What?
Toyota Tacoma. Boom!
It should have actually been, what truck do I have something in common with?
Well, I just made it up, like, out of the blue.
Okay.
Can you top that?
You better hope to God your mother never sees this video, because if she finds out you've been joking about the coma, that's it. You won't have to worry about a coma, you'll be dead.
Be like,
You'll be dead. Don't mock her.
No, it's
He's
not mocking,
so bad.
I'm just saying that's what she'll be like. This is a factual statement.
Anyway, so he had been in a coma, and it was actually true, and I was stunned. And I was even more stunned that he's texting me from physical therapy. We had never even met in person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he, of course, he got out of the coma, and his body was weak. His muscles had weakened, and he had lost so much weight, like he said.
I had lost muscle mass, a lot of muscle.
Of course.
I had a lot of muscles.
Of course.
Yeah, but I lost muscle mass. This is a fact.
Of course.
I'm not just saying it as an excuse.
Okay.
Honestly, I really had a lot of muscles.
So back to the actual question of how we met, and not how the Persian lost his 12-pack.
Okay, 4-pack. All right.
Okay. I'll allow it. So he had texted me from physical therapy, and he's like, I'm still really interested in meeting you. I don't know if you're interested. And I was like, yeah, I'm just really shocked. And I was really shocked. So I had, of course, a million questions about, the coma and everything. And to be fair, before the coma, he had told me about his epilepsy. So it wasn't like he was just springing that on me.
But it was bad. It was a lot worse than now, but it was never like 60 in one day.
Yeah.
But then
you would have them a lot more while you were awake before the coma. But that day was the worst. It was 60.
I just
a couple of hours,
flashes
right?
of that day. I remember my mom missed the exit to the freeway. And I was annoyed. Yeah, I probably did. And my brother says that I flirted with all the nurses.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
I don't know. So that happened. And I don't remember any of that, though. And I was wearing his sunglasses, and he said I was acting like a celebrity. I don't know. These weird things. Which, looking back, is kind of like my character, really.
Yeah, totally. Cheeky, flirty guy.
I'm kind of like that when I come out of anesthesia, too. I'm like, hey, you. Really cheesy.
So.
Extra cheesy.
So, he gets out of physical therapy, and we arrange to meet. And this is where I guess I committed my bad. we had talked about going out, and I talked to him, and I said, and we planned a date, and I said, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm really not ready to be in a relationship. While he was in the coma, I had actually met someone, and it didn't go very well, and I was just like, you know what, I'm off dating for a while. So I told him, I said, I'm not interested in a relationship. And he was very open, and he said, thanks for telling me. I really appreciate your honesty. I totally understand where you're coming from, but I hope we can still be friends. And I said, sure, yeah, absolutely. Let's still be friends.
She fell for it.
And he said, awesome, I'm happy we're going to still be friends, but just so you know, I know what I want, and I'm going to go for it. And that really impressed me. I was like, huh. All right. Let's see how this goes. And this guy's a player. Not a player, but, he's
I'm
like
a player on the chessboard
in the running, yeah,
of what I know I want.
Yes.
And I get it.
And so I said, okay. And then about a week later, we finally went on our first date. I had heard there was going to be a meteor shower in the mountains.
Meteor shower. Meteor shower.
I had heard there was going to be a meteor shower in the mountains this one night. And keep in mind, we'd been consistently talking this whole time. And we had Skyped a few times by now, but we hadn't yet met in person.
I think that's how it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember I made him blush on Skype when we talked on Skype, and he's like, Persians don't blush. Brown guys don't blush.
Yeah,
I'm like,
we don't.
You're blushing. Anyway, so I had heard there was going to be a meteor shower up in the mountains, and I said, why don't I come pick you up, and we'll just take some hot chocolate up to the mountains, and we'll watch a meteor shower, and we'll talk, and we'll get to know each other. And he's like, perfect.
So dangerous.
And really, thinking back on it, like, if it were any of my friends saying, yeah, I went on a first date up in the mountains with this guy that I've never met before, I would say, you have lost your mind. What were you thinking?
If it was your, niece or
anyone, I would wring their necks. I would never allow it.
For me, it was dangerous for me, too. I'm just saying. Out of a coma,
Well, it turns out the meteor shower wasn't even going to happen until 4 o'clock in the morning, and I totally got the time screwed up. So to this day, he swears I got
time screwed up. Time screwed up.
He thinks I was just trying to get him up in the mountains. So that's how we met. That was a really long story, but our story is a long story.
It's a good story.
It's a great story.
It's amazing.
And it has a pretty good ending.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's question 1.
Wow, that was a
I know. The rest probably won't be as long, but that's been a question on people have been asking that since we started blogging. So there's the story.